What games have you spent literal months of your life on? Cribbage. Been playing my dad for 40 years and he can still beat my ass. My dad learned to play as a kid from his grandfather, and they'd bet a penny on each game. Sadly, my great-grandfather passed away relatively young, in his early 60s. My dad taught my brother and I to play as soon as we had the requisite math skills, and I grew up hearing lots of stories about my great-grandfather, whom I never met, while getting absolutely thrashed at crib by my dad. For Christmas about 10 years ago, my dad would have been around 50 years old at the time. My great-grandmother, by then in her 90s, gave him a bag of pennies with a handwritten note tied to it that read cribbage winnings from my dad's name. He had kept every penny he'd won off my dad over the years they played. The only time I've seen my dad cry harder than he did that Christmas morning is when my great-grandmother passed away a few years later. Bri didn't come here for the sad feels at 4:47 a.m. before going to work. 35 or so, he taught me after I learned subtraction. Diablo 2 load still runs in the background of my PC to this day, so what is that, 20 years? Who wants to do some bail runs? Send TP. Civilization series. I'll go from playing every day for ungodly amounts of time, to taking months or even years off before I touch the game again. That is so weird. I do this exact same thing. I have no plans of ever playing it again, but sure enough I will relapse and go on binges. That's how the game works. I do the same thing. Just one more turn. The Civ games are the only ones I've ever had to quit cold turkey like a effing junkie. That one more turn crap is no joke. Only recently played Civ for the first time. Played one game and basically didn't move from the couch for the entire weekend. When the game ended, finally I decided it was too addictive and not something I could afford to keep in my life. I have not played a second game and plan to keep it that way. Op said months, not decades. Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4. I walk the desert of New Vegas a lot just to clear my mind, like a walk in the park. Doesn't it just make you wish for a nuclear winter? Here's Mr. New Vegas saying you ain't somebody till somebody loves you. And that somebody is me. I love you. People keep asking if there's a Mrs. New Vegas. Of course there is, you're her. And you're just as beautiful as the day we met. GTA San Andreas. I've never been so immersed in a world that I would do anything from riding my bike, to flying a plane, or even dirt biking the desert. This game had so many elements in a world that I can also shoot rockets while doing all three things. Effing classic game and in my top 5 video games of all time. San Andreas and Vice City were effing unbelievable when they came out. SA had a lot of cool stuff that they never used again, like the turf wars. Forever waiting for Rockstar to pick that game mechanic back up. Best gang war simulator, ever. Yes. I was just talking to a friend of mine last week about how GTA 5 needs turf wars. He and I were roommates back when San Andreas came out and we shared our game. I'll never forget him yelling, "Got some clowns running up on our crap bro. Circus in our town." As I would be lying in my bed with my GF at the time in the other room, lol. Few minutes later, I would still be lying next to my GF, pretending I didn't care about that stupid game she despised, until I would hear him yell, "Clowns have been neutralized. Circus is shut the F down. Turf is ours." And breathe a sigh of relief to my old GF's dismay. We took that game so seriously. They need to make a remaster of that game ASAP or bring back Turf Wars. Edit. He still has our VHS copies of our highlights from that game back in the day, lol. Simpler times in life. Edit. I texted him and told him to dig up the VHS highlight reels and send them to me, lol. GTA San Andreas, the mechanic of eating too much and vomiting back. Getting real fat or getting buffed with workout. Finding new bikes in other countries which were different. Also, going to another country without unlocking it would automatically put you in a 5-star police level. This game was a real gem. Sims 3, Sims 4. So many hours. Edit. Just wanted to add because I'm sure people who play can relate. It's a game where I'll play all day for 3 days and then not touch for months. Yeah, The Sims is a life sucker. I have something like nearly 4,000 hours on TS4 since I first got it, and no, I'm not a streamer. Not proud of those numbers. Edit, the games are also huge money pits. What's insane is that it's a completely single-player game too. Spending crazy amounts of time on an MMO or shooter with your real-life friends or even just online acquaintances is one thing, but to spend countless hours just building and playing virtual lives for virtual people completely by yourself is another thing. And yes, I'm an avid simmer, so I get it. Playing virtual lives for virtual people and making them do chores. It's not like they live wild adventures. They literally go about their daily lives, doing laundry and cleaning up and making food and sleeping. But they do have expansions where you go on adventures. And over time you can minimize how much you need to sleep/eat and stuff through point upgrades, allowing you to focus on the fun stuff. That's the appeal for me. I can relax by myself. I've put a number of hours into The Sims and I had to step away. The addiction is real and it's easy to see why. You get to live a life where you can fast forward the bad parts and focus on things that make you better. And you always get better. There's no mistakes or missteps or lost skills because you haven't used them. You can take any job and just get good at it. It's not real, but it feels like it is. What I like about The Sims is there's always a solution. Out of money? Instantly sell your couch. Need a job? Just show up and you're hired. Wife gets a crush on the mailman? Build walls around him and let him starve to death. There's no problem that can't be solved in The Sims. On that note, finding a new mate is also incredibly easy, compared to real life. I've been playing Sims since the original came out. I have over 800 hours in Sims 4 alone. I guarantee I've put a fraction of my life into that game. I wish I could see my stats regarding playing time. I've been playing since Sims 1. And I've had plenty of binge days where all I did was play 10 hours of Sims. I love Sims 4, but I'm not willing to spend my money on all those damn DLCs. It really hurts that vanilla game only feels like 25% of the game. Beside that, great game though. Yeah, I refuse to buy Sims 4 until I can get a good sale on all the DLC. I got Sims 3, plus all the expansions during a 90 to 95% off Steam sale. I think the whole thing was about $60. I'm not paying $400 plus, just to get the same expansions I already have in Sims 3. I really wish The Sims wasn't an EA game. EA killed modding and those expansions should be part of the core game by now. You never get a good feeling from buying an EA game, you always feel slightly ripped off, like they have calculated down to the exact dollar how much people will pay. Like they think value for money just means they missed out on an opportunity to take more of your money. The Sims modding community used to be amazing, is a game that was made by a group of Sims modders. Web link. Skyrim. I've logged over 200 plus hours my first time around. I don't know for this time. Building my home is always fun. Skyrim on Switch is like crack for me. I put about 170 hours into it while I was off work due to the shutdown. I want more games like that on the Switch. When we saw the commercial when the Switch first was announced, my roommate on the other couch just looked over wide-eyed and said, "Bro, Skyrim on the toilet? Careful, play for too long and your legs will go numb so you collapse when you stand. And wake up in the back of a cart on your way to Heglen." How did I not know it's on Switch and why have I not gotten it yet? When you get it, you get the 3 DLCs too. I got it right after COVID started and dropped a couple hundred hours into it since, playing all the quest lines with my 3 favorite builds. I love having an open RPG on the Switch. Cities, skylines. It has no real end, you just slowly grow and refine your fictional city and its story until you get bored with it. Then you imagine a new city. That game just confused me. I'd get about 200k people and then everything would go to crap in seconds. It gets real hard, man. Oh, I want to say it so bad. Go ahead, don't be shy. That's what he said. You really have to plan ahead for expansion and coverage of utilities or you're just effed when your population explodes. Paradox has a special way of building games which foster great head canon. The stories that come out of a game like Crusader Kings are treasures to my heart. I'll always remember being a midget duke in West Francia and cucking the king of Middle Francia, then kidnapping his wife and killing my wife so we can be together. It's a love story like no other. I made a dynasty of Herculean, genius, hideous, scaly, albinos with dwarfism in CK3. In my head canon they were a race of tiny red-eyed lizard people. They ruled through dread because it was the logical thing. Many of them were also inbred/pure-blooded. It was an interesting playthrough. RuneScape. Me too. I still have that old $5 membership price. I'm one of those people who play RS3 not because the graphics are better but because I just never stopped playing. Still have my '06 account. RuneScape is like my one and only. I started playing when I was 8 and I have always came back to it. Just checked today because someone asked. I have over 400 days of in-game time. At least my account is over 15 years old, so that only averages to 2 hours a day. For 15 years. I feel like I should be way better at this game than I am. I was hospitalized for a while and I bought Stardew Valley on the first day I was discharged. One of the characters, Shane, was in a similar situation, so I spent my entire recovery period playing that game and getting better alongside Shane. I have around 800 hours on the PC version, but I think I'm well into over 1,000 hours since I also own it on other platforms too. Man, I love Stardew. I'm playing Stardew Valley right now. I didn't notice anything wrong with Shane, he's just a little grumpy. Did they update it and take stuff out? He's a hardcore alcoholic. If you worked for JoJo, you would be too. Keep talking with him. He's a tortured soul but a good person. Do you want spoilers? His storyline is pretty depressing. World of Warcraft, not months, years. I had over 600 days of in-game play time from 2004 to 2017 when I finally quit. Edit. Holy crap, that's a lot of awards. Thank you, fellow addicts. Relate to this. Played for so long from when it was first launched. I don't regret the friendships and memories made. But I do wonder how differently my life would have been if I had spent that time differently. Wow, that is a real and big statement. Thanks, man. I've considered that my life would have been better had I been able to walk away from the computer sooner, or even to have never picked it up in the first place. I'm at a point where I won't even consider reinstalling, and I resent being told about what's happening in game. I think it's normal to resent the game when we, have spent literal years playing it. On one hand, looking at the game and thinking about the traps that were there to make you play longer angers me. On the other hand, I think when people spend so much time on one thing, it's because they need an escape from something. So, maybe if there was no World of Warcraft at that time, you would have another obsession or distraction. WoW is the heroine of video games. Can confirm I wasted less time while I was alcoholic than when I was playing WoW. Ever tried both? That combo is called the Chinese postgrad and it's quite lethal. World of Warcraft. I remember Evercrack. I quit 3 separate times. And back today because Shadowlands. Same, well over 2 years played on just one of my characters, over 3 between them all. Though I had a habit of staying logged in AFK whenever I went out or went to bed, so a good chunk of that time I wasn't actually playing. Holy balls, dude. Like zero judgment, that's just really a surprising number to see. Never tried it, glad I didn't now. Could have ended me. I legit know someone who failed out of college because he was so addicted to World of Warcraft. I quit World of Warcraft to go to college. It really was one or the other. I know many people this happened to. Was in college when it came out. Yup. More of my life than any game ever. Quit and rejoined 3 times. Played casual, PvP only, hardcore raiding, and floating. Don't regret a single moment of it. Best game ever. Minecraft. I'm just surprised it was this far down. I built huge complexes and mansions in creative mode. I have a couple of individual projects that each have over a month's worth of hours. Yes. I had a single-player hardcore world that I started when tridents were new. Sadly, after about a year, I forgot to check my elytra durability. And went skydiving. Oof. Minecraft was the source of and solution to a 2-year depression I went through. Minecraft is a game where you can truly spend years in it without getting bored. I've played since almost the beginning of Pocket Edition, and I still love the game just as much. Ah, good old days of early Pocket Edition. I can't believe how far the game has come since then. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.